So we're out here to teach our people that according to the Bible, we are the greatest people to ever walk the face of this earth. You understand, my brethren? Which country you from?
I'm from Turks and Caicos.
Huh?
Turks and Caicos.
Okay, no problem. So we're bringing out the history of our people, right? So my friend, you was asking a question about what?
Barbados.
About this, right? What this is about?
I'm from Barbados.
You're from Barbados, right?
Benjamin.
Okay, all praises. So can you see yourself on that side, brother?
Yeah, Benjamin.
All right, Benjamin, right? So let me ask you a question. How did our people get to the islands of Barbados? How did we get there?
Boat.
What kind of boat? Was it a yacht? A cruise liner?
No.
What kind of boat was it? A fish boat?
Slave ship.
Huh? Slave what? A slave ship. Hey brother, did you hear that? A slave ship. Where you guys from? Where you from, brother? Where you from?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. What tribe?
My mom's from Belize.
Alright, no problem. We're teaching nationality according to the Bible. What is our nationality according to the Bible? And my friend, you asked me a question about, you're from Barbados, right? And what is all this about? Have you ever heard of the story of Moses and Pharaoh? The children of Israel brought across the Red Sea. And then they were in the wilderness. Moses gave them the commandments. You never heard that story? You've been to church before? You've been to church? You never heard that story? Let my people go? The 10 plagues of Egypt? Never heard that? Have you heard that, brother? You've heard that before, right? We're showing you, my friend, that according to the Bible, we are the children of Israel.
That's right.
We make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. How do we know this? Because there are signs in the Bible that indicate that we are that true people. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1, please, officer. For too long we've been tricked, brother. Where you from, bro? Sierra Leone, right? Listen, we were out in Sierra Leone not so long ago. Exactly doing what you see here, but we're doing that on the streets of Sierra Leone. Showing our people their true identity according to the Bible. Alright, read that.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Moses is in the wilderness and he's speaking to who?
All Israel.
The target audience are the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Let's stay in the same book, Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and verse 1. And then give me verse 15. Listen to this.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Did you hear that, brother? Did you hear that? God said if the Israelites kept the commandments of God, right, through Moses, that they will be set on high above what?
All nations of the earth.
Does that sound like equality to you, brother? Does that sound like equality? If you are set above all nations, does that sound like equality to you? Does that sound like equality? Does that sound like equality to you? So if the children of Israel kept God's commandments, they would be set on high above all nations, which means what? They would be the leading nation today. You understand, my brethren? But guess what? Are we the leading nation today? Do we rule anything today, brother? Sierra Leone, the people in Sierra Leone, are they in a poor state? Yes, they are, my brother. Yes, they are. Read, give me verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
Future prophecy. But it shall come to pass. Remember, at this stage, Moses has already redeemed them out of the house of Egypt, right? 400 years as slaves. He's redeemed them. They've crossed the Red Sea. They're in the wilderness. He's given them the laws and commandments. So at this time, they're out of bondage. They've been redeemed out of slavery. But Moses is saying, but it shall what?
It shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Did you hear, my brother? The flip side is, remember, the blessings was, keep the law, you'll be blessed and placed on high above all nations. The flip side is, break the commandments, and you will be what? All these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now let me ask you a simple question. Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? Would you want to be cursed, brother? Or would you want to be blessed? Which one would you want? So alright, so is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? So say it, man. We're not like, listen, we're all men out here, right? No prideful spirit. We are man. My brother, is a curse good or bad? A curse is a bad thing, right? Read it again, officer, okay? It looks like they're not sure.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Yeah, my brother, so I'm trying to show you your history. I'm trying to show you your history, and I'm showing you your history and your history according to the Bible. Curses would come upon God's chosen people if they disobeyed God and they didn't keep the commandments. You got that so far? So let's find out if we are a blessed people. Now the people in Barbados, we were brought from Africa as slaves to the islands. You understand? Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and so forth. You understand? We were taken from the continent as slaves. So give me verse 46.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
They are the curses. The curses shall be upon thee, the 12 tribes of Israel, for a sign. Let me ask you guys a simple question. You studied English, right? You know English, right? What is the purpose of a sign? What does a sign do? Directs. So if I want to know where Cocoa shop is, what would I look for?
Sign.
Right. If I want to know where McDonald's is, what would I look for? I look for the logo, the sign. So these curses will identify and show you who the real Jews are today. Because you have some people in Israel today claiming to be the real Jews. Am I wrong or right? Called the Israelis, right? The so-called Israelis. They say that they're the Jews, right? In the land of Israel. But these curses, Moses said, would be a what from the top?
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Listen.
And upon thy seed forever.
No, for a short period of time.
Forever.
These curses will be upon your seed for a sign forever. So guess what, brother? In 2021, these signs are still on God's chosen people. But in order for you to find out or identify who they are, you're going to have to put on that detective hat, right? And do a little bit of investigation, right? You're going to have to take these curses or read these curses and see which nation of people do they line up with. Remember what he said, they shall be on thy seed for what?
Forever.
So they're still on God's people today. What we're going to do is called a simple process of elimination. We're going to read a couple of curses, and you out of your own mouths can tell me which nation of people fit these curses, right? Simple, right? Simple, brother, right? Simple, okay? Give me verse 32. And all the sign up for me.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So the first curse we're reading is that your sons and daughters will be taken from you and given to another people. Which people in history had their sons and daughters taken from them physically and then given to another people? Read up.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Hold on a second, stick up in verse 41.
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
You're going to have sons and daughters, but you're not going to enjoy seeing them grow up, have their children, etc., etc. Why? They're going where?
Into captivity,
which means slavery. So brothers, which people in history had their children physically taken from them and sold into slavery?
West Indies.
All right. Did it happen to the white man? Why? Did it happen to the Chinese man? Brother, what about the Japanese man? Did they have their sons and daughters physically taken from them and sold into slavery? Did that happen to them? And if so, where's the history? My brother, what about the Arab man? Did the Arabs have their children physically taken from them and sold into slavery? Did that happen to them? What about our people? Did we have our children taken from us and sold into slavery? Yes or no? Yes, we did. We fit that curse. And guess how you know that it only happened to us? Have you ever watched any slave movies? Roots, 12 Years a Slave, Django. You never watched a slave movie in your life, brother? What about you, bro? You watch a slave movie? Slave movie? You see the slave films, right? Which people do they have? Or which people are they selling into slavery? What color are they? So-called black people, right? But this happened to our people. We had our sons and daughters physically taken from us and sold into captivity. And when they took them from us, there was nothing that we could do. All we could do is cry, cry, and cry. But they were gone. They were gone. Give me verse 48.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48.
Because guess what, brothers? You see what we're bringing out here? They will never teach you it in school, in university, in college, and they never ever bring it out in the church, even though it's written in a Bible that they have in the churches. They never ever read this history, because you, if they do bring it out, you might sit there thinking, hold on a minute, shoot, that sounds like he's talking about my people. You might just wake up. The slaves just might wake up. You understand? Read it from the top, officer.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
You're going to have to serve your enemies. In what?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
God sent the nations against us for being disobedient. Come on.
In hunger.
For food, you're going to have to serve these people, because they own the infrastructure, or the food industry is controlled by them. Read?
And in thirst.
Water, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Lucozade. Do we own the infrastructure that produces these products? Do we own it, brothers? Do we own it? No, we don't. Read.
And in nakedness.
The clothing on your back, I challenge you. When you get home, look at the tag on the back of your garments, right? It will say made in a country that is not yours. China, India, Pakistan, you understand? But it won't say made in Barbados. It won't say made in Nigeria or Sierra Leone.
What?
You understand, my brother? Read, is that it? Read on.
And in want of all things.
Anything that you need, you as a nation of people are going to have to go to another nation who provides the infrastructure for you to benefit from. Passport, visa, education, you understand? Housing. You understand, my brother? Anything you need, you're going to have to go to another nation. But here is the kicker. Read this.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Do you hear that, brothers? This enemy will put yokes of irons upon your necks until you have been destroyed.
Bring it out.
Is there any history of the white man having yokes of irons on his necks? Is there? What about the Chinese man? What about the Japanese man? What about the East Indians?
No.
How about the Arabs? Is there any history that you could go to that shows them as a nation of people being sold into slavery with yokes of irons on their neck? Is there any? What about our people? What about our people? Yes, I challenge you. All of you got smartphones, right? You've all got smartphones? If you go to Google and type yokes of iron into the search bar and go to images, see what images come up. All the images are of so-called black people being sold into slavery. Remember, verse 46 says, these curses shall be upon us for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because, brother, you said, what is the purpose of all this? And you are from an island where our people were taken from as slaves. So we're trying to show you, our people, their true nationality according to the Bible. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't finish there, right? Remember, we were brought to Barbados on a slave ship. They took us from the continent of Africa on cargo slave ships. Is that in the Bible? Let's find out. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Brother, Moses said through God, the Lord will bring you back into Egypt. Remember I said to you, at this time, they had already been freed from the Egyptians. After spending 400 years as slaves, Moses, they're in the wilderness, and Moses is just saying, look, this is what will happen to you if you don't obey God. So Moses is saying, look, if you don't keep God's laws and commandments, he's going to send you back into Egypt with ships. The word Egypt means bondage. The word Egypt means slavery.
Right.
The word Egypt means captivity.
Right. Bring it out.
So all Moses is saying is, God will send you back into slavery in ships.
That's right.
Which people went into slavery in ships? Remember, process of elimination. Where is the history of the so-called white man going into slavery on slave ships? Is it there? Have you ever seen it? Brother, what about the East Indian man?
Come on.
Have you ever seen any history of them going into slavery on cargo slave ships? Hey bro, what about the Arab man? Have you ever seen any history of the Arab man going into slavery on ships? Have you ever seen any? Alright, read on.
The indigenous.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Come on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Now once you get off those slave ships, wherever those slave ships dock and land, you're going to be sold as what? Princes?
For bondmen and bondwomen.
You're going to be sold as slave men and slave women. Once you get off those slave ships, you're going to be sold as slave men and slave women. Young, strong Negro, 18 years old, fit for the cotton fields. Who will bid me $50? Who will bid me $80, $100, $150, $120, $200? Sold to Mr. Jones. And when Mr. Jones brought you, guess what he did? He stripped you of your name, your culture, and your identity, and then gave you his own. That's why many of us have last surnames or European surnames. You understand? Yes, exactly. You understand, brother? Did you hear that? So the purpose of what we're trying to show you, brothers, is our history is in the Bible. We are the Jews the Bible speaks of. We are the biblical Israelites the Bible speaks of. How do we know? Because Moses said that these curses would be upon us forever. Now guess what? I'm standing here looking at all of us, right? Do we have chains on our feet? Do we have shackles on our hands? Do we have yokes of irons on our necks? But guess what? Moses said that that sign would be upon you forever. You know, do you know what that sign is? When you look at the history of slavery, that sign is still there. You understand? If you Google yokes of irons, you'll get images of black men with yokes of iron on their necks. If you Google chattel slavery or transatlantic slavery, the history of our people being taken on slavery, on slave ships is there. That's the sign. It's documented in history. Yes, my brother.
I'm just asking, like, instead of doing it from a religious perspective, why couldn't you just do it from more of a historical?
That's what we're doing. I just gave you Bible prophecy and historical fact. I did exactly what you just said. Well, what do you want me to do, brother? This is history, right? Is it not history?
From a religious perspective.
Religion. This is not religion, bro. This ain't the Christian church.
Come on.
This is not religion. We are the children of Israel.
That's right.
And God gave us laws, commandments, and statutes to live by.
Right.
To govern us as a people. That we should be separate and a beacon of light to all the other nations who are worshipping idols and foolish gods. You understand? We were meant to be that bright, shining light. This is not religion, but this is not the Christian church. Give me the book of Baruch chapter 4 and verse, give me verse 8. Baruch 3 and 8. That's what I want. Baruch 3 and 8. Baruch 3 and 8.
Oh, praise the Messiah. Give me that. The book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8. Are you paying attention, brothers? Yeah? You paying attention? Oh, praise. Read that.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Did you hear what the Bible said? The Bible said that we are yet this day in our captivity. Read.
Where thou hast scattered us.
Where thou hast what?
Thou hast scattered us.
As you can see, we've been showing you the signpost where we've been scattered, we've been sold in slavery, scattered among all people. All right, brothers, pay attention, brothers. Right? What's your name? What's your name, bro?
Israel. Because remember,
Brother with the do-rag. What's your name, bro?
Egypt to Israel.
Yeah, your name.
When Moses walked from
Wendy. All right, what's your name, bro?
children of Israel from Egypt,
What's your name?
that's the way they walked into the
Beyond.
Beyond.
to show you that
Beyond. All right, all praises. Brother Wendy and Bio, pay attention, right? Read that again from the top.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment.
So today, we're still a scattered people. Because our homeland, which is Jerusalem, we're not back in our homeland again. Alright? For a what? For a reproach?
For a reproach and a curse.
For a reproach and a curse. We've been reading all the curses in Deuteronomy 28, which pertains to us. It does not pertain to any other nation. It pertains to us as a people.
Scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.